What's going on, Dead End Sportsers? I don't even know if we have a name. We never really had cool names for people that follow the show. So, what up, everybody? We're back with another week of fantasy football talk. It's me with your boy, the Beezy 430. What's going on, B?
We got week 7 in the books.
Yep. How did you do this week?
I did bad, man. I went 2-3, man. Out of my 5 leagues, I went 2-3 this time. I lost by 1 freaking point in my main league because Jordy Nelson and Jordan Howard combined me for 2.7 points. All I needed was 4 points from each one of them. I would have won. Didn't expect Philadelphia's defense to have the day they had. I had Seattle's defense playing, which they still gave me some good points too, but I didn't expect Philly to do what they did. Me and your league, we just, I don't know what is it, man. We the usual fantasy football curse that happens to us. You know, Forte's been stinking it up, and finally I think this is our first time benching him this season, and he goes off for like 21 points.
You know how that goes. As soon as you bench a guy, he goes off.
Because that happened to me with Jeremy Hill a couple weeks ago. I benched him against Denver, and he had like 22 points. Luckily, I still won because that's the Dead End Sports League in the ESPN. I'm still undefeated, 7-0. And I'm 6-1 in the real NFL along with Ken. Ken's 5-2. So that league, it's battling, man. You guys nothing. Me, yourself, you know, big boy. I feel so bad for Trapstar. Shout out to Trapstar Lloyd if he's watching. I mean, if he's listening or whatever, man. He had he benched Drew Brees and played Matt Ryan. I wouldn't even I don't know what he was thinking. I wouldn't have played that matchup. I would have for Drew Brees. I don't know what he was thinking. But yeah.
Playing the matchups.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even play the matchups with that. But yeah, man, I went. I mean, you know, the NFL.com Dead End Sports League. That's another one. That league and the league that me and you doing. Them the teams that's like struggling the worst. My main league, you know, I'm just mad that I caught some bad breaks. I'm 3-4, but I'm second in points. I'm second in total points in that league. So I know that just shows you the capable of my team. And then another league, I'm 4-3. I lost though, but I'm 4-3 in that league. But yeah, man, 2-3 this week. I think this is my first 2-3 week in like about maybe 4 weeks. I think 4 weeks has been since usually I go always 3-2, but this time I'm 2-3. So how did you fare out?
It was okay. It wasn't 18-1 like I did last year. For everybody that's new to the show, I have 27 teams. So last week I went 8-1. This week I went 15-12. I had some players on bye, and Yahoo had a terrible week, man. I went like 1-4, and I lost in the main league because of Melvin Gordon's 30-point ridiculousness. Of course, you know, we lost by 4 points in our league, which Booker wasn't a bad play because he put up 14 points. 14 points, yeah. It's Jordan Howard didn't do anything, and you know, it's just like it's just so frustrating. It's like we just can't catch a break.
We can't catch a break. We cannot catch a break in that league. I don't know why.
But we caught one. We'll see what happens, and I'll get to that in a sec. CBS, and I was pretty much either I had winning records in every other league. So Yahoo was 1-4, CBS 6-4, NFL 2-2, and then ESPN 6-2. I lost in one of the DES leagues, and look, dude just had a good week, so I got to tip my hat to him. Like I said, man, when you come, man, you got to come correct, and he did. He beat me down, and that's how you got to do it. In the other one, I went 5-2. Thankfully, I benched Jamal Charles, and the amount of false information. Oh, I'll get to that in a second. Yeah. Yeah, and I went 5-4-2. No, that should be 5-2 in the DES league. Now that I got Brady and Gronk back, I done put up 3 straight wins, so I'm rolling in that league. And so not bad, not the best. I think there were 2 or 3 games that I could have won if it wasn't for, and I'm gonna get into it, the amount of false information and misleading that the coaches do to reporters, because it came out that LeSean McCoy had an injury, that he wasn't going to play, and then it turned out he was going to play. He was going to get around 20 to 25 snaps, and it didn't happen. He got hurt, and he sat out the rest of the game. Gillingsley didn't get any work, and Buffalo ultimately ended up losing that game. And I could have played Frank Gore and won that game. Jamal Charles, same thing. Limited package with him, and he's gonna play. And he got like 1 carry. And the reasoning behind that is because Spencer Ware was playing well. And if I could have played somebody, I forgot who I had on my bench, I would have won that game too. That game as well. So, it's like if you have a solid backup, I think it's just almost not even worth risking it. And sometimes I don't want to miss out on anything, but as in the case of the two teams that I had where I rolled the dice, I cost myself an L. And sometimes it's just not even worth it, man. And sometimes I'll do that, man. I'll think about what I could potentially lose instead of thinking what I could potentially gain by not playing him at all if he gets hurt. And in those situations, that's what happened. I ended up with 0 points. So I had to eat that. I was frustrated with that. Oh, and then I made a last-minute lineup change, benching Crowell for Matt Jones. And that didn't work out. Thankfully, I lost by 20-something points. So the 14 points that I missed out on wouldn't have made much difference.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. So I feel good about that, but still, it could have cost me. And I set the lead, and that was the one where Jordy, much like you, Jordy Nelson had like 1 point, 0.9 points. So in all honesty, I was like, well, I'm going to lose this week anyway, because the guy I was playing against had a really good team.
Yeah, at that point, you just got to do it. Just take it.
So I was like, it can't hurt. Yeah. I mean, really, there's no difference between Isaiah Crowell and Matt Jones.
Right.
So, it was like whatever. But Isaiah Crowell had a better matchup than Detroit, and Washington's just not good, man. They're just not good, and I need the league to stop thinking they're good. But anyway, so that's that. So that's how I went. So yeah, I guess let's keep it rolling, man.
Yeah, man. I hate this. This is why I hate Thursday night games, man, because you have poor NFL play for the most part. So, but I wasn't gonna bench Jordy Nelson. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna bench him. I wasn't gonna bench Jordan Howard because I had Washington on the bench. I wasn't gonna switch them because I didn't have a feeling Washington was gonna really do much.
Right.
So I stuck with because Howard's the horse right now for the Bears. So it's like he's getting the most work. So he's going to get the most touches. So I stuck with him. Just like this week in the real NFL league I got with you. I have 3 Thursday nighters, man. I got Tennessee's defense. I got DeMarco Murray, and I got Allen Hurns playing. I got those 3 guys I got playing because I got Antonio Brown on bye, Jarvis Landry on bye, and then I got D'Angelo Williams, which he's non-factor, and DeAndre Washington, and I got Antonio Gates. But I'm gonna still roll with Randolph because he's playing Monday night. But yeah, like that league, it's like I gotta go with DeMarco Murray, and plus DeMarco Murray been balling for me all season, so that'd be stupid to bench him because he's playing Thursday night. I just hate Thursday night games because you're gonna have games where you're playing your go-to starters and they don't do nothing. Like Jesus, man. Like if I wasn't gonna bench in my main league, I wasn't gonna bench Jordy Nelson and play Cole Beasley. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have, because Beasley put up, at least I think like 11, 12, 13 spot that week, this past week. So I would have won, but just that 1 point difference, man, because I blame Howard and Nelson for me losing in my main league. I blame both of them because they stunk. Man, you should have saw me when I looked at the scores after the Thursday night game. I was like, let me see what Nelson and Howard did. I was like, I looked at my total points. I was like, 2.9. I was like, no. And I was like, wait a minute, this got to be wrong. I looked at it and I saw Jerry. I was like, mother. And then what made even worse I lost to the guy that's 0-6. So he got his first win.
Oh.
He got his first win for me and put me under 500. I'm 3-4 because of Jordy Nelson and Jordan Howard. And I lost to the and it's not like he's not doing his lineups, Ken. This guy that's on everybody in this main league does a lineup because it's $175 times 12 on the line. So everyone's doing their lineups. This dude, I lost to the 0-6 squad, dude. And he's like 10th in points. And I lost to him by 1 point because Jordan Nelson and Jordan Howard lost. Yes, I want people to feel and hear my pain right now. I lost because of that. So that messed up my whole weekend. I didn't care if I won in the rest of my 4 leagues. The fact that I lost this way, I was so ticked off, man. That just made my weekend bummer.
Yeah, I picked up Ty Montgomery, and I had a feeling he would play well.
He did.
I thought about benching Howard in the league that we have because we have Forte, and I had a feeling that was going to happen, and it did. I will say this, everybody listening, pick up Jeremy Langford, and I'll tell you why when we get into some of the injuries that just hit. B, you're changing the What Up Dose.
Okay, so, y'all know the What Up Dose session is kind of like a, players that, went, quote unquote, missing. So I'm going to change the name of this session called the Milk Carton, not to kind of put shame or put funny in, kids being missing in real life. But I'm just using this analogy towards fantasy football for players who disappear, players that you normally depend on that don't show up, right? So I'm going to call this session the Milk Carton. So the players that's on my Milk Carton for this week is Amari Cooper with 3.3 points, Brandon Marshall with 4.2 points, Jordan Howard 2.2, Jordy Nelson 0.9, Odell Beckham 5.1, Allen Robinson, that's another guy that was going late. People still playing him every week. He went late first round. Allen Robinson from Jacksonville 1.1. I don't know what's up with this dude, DeAndre Hopkins, 3.6 points. Houston just in the funk offensively.
Brock Osweiler is what's wrong with them.
Yep, that's what's wrong. Buffalo defense, a lot of people played them -5 points. They set you back 5. And at QB, Russell Wilson, we know that was a tough defensive game. He put up double digits, 8.8 points. That's bad. That's awful. And my studs for this week will be Melvin Gordon, had 3 touchdowns, 1 reception, 2 rushing, 53 reception yards, 63 rushing yards. And Philly defense put up 30 points. A lot of people played them with the exception of myself. I played Seattle defense, which still gave me 17 points. But Philly defense put up 30. I had 30 points of a defense on the bench. If your defense giving you 30 points, that's saying a lot. They had a touchdown, an interception, and 3 fumble recoveries, and they only held Minnesota to 10 points. So, yeah, man, Philadelphia was eating this week on the defensive end. So that's my Milk Carton. My players for the Milk Carton, they went missing. We're still looking for them. Hopefully, we can find them come week 8. For the ones that's not on bye week. Hopefully when they come back and play, we can find them again. And the studs, hey, keep it up, especially Melvin Gordon, because he's on my squad.
All right, cool. So that's that. All right, so here's what I got. Here is the It Was All Good, though. It was all good a week ago. Player of the week. And for those of you that are new to the show, this segment, like B's highlights guys that just didn't show up. I'm talking about guys that showed up last week that didn't show up this week at all. And you expected them to show up because of what they did last week. Yep. So anyway, it's similar, but if you're familiar with Jay-Z, you'll kind of get it. But anyway, the guy this week, man, is the guy that some of you had to play because you had a player on bye, and he had a great week last week. It came after he himself said in the news during I guess it was a press that he's a much better player than that, because the week before he had a pedestrian game. He was like, I'm a much better player than that. He went out and he showed it for that week. 16 carries, 135 yards, and a touchdown. He had 19.5 points. He was sitting on my bench, and he should have been sitting on my bench this week. I'm talking about Matt Jones. Matt Jones went out this week against Detroit, 10 carries, 27 yards, 2.7 points. From 19.5 to 2.7 points. He fumbled twice, and it got him benched. The last fumble that he had was in the red zone within, 7 yards from scoring. He lost, instead of gaining 6 points, he lost 2 points, and he ended up being benched. Not only that, he had another goal line opportunity later in the game when they decided to put him in, and he did nothing. He just ran into the blockers and just fell down. Typical Matt Jones. And now he's in danger of entering into a timeshare because they got Rob Kelly and Chris Thompson out there. Thankfully, I don't have to deal with this anymore. Well, LeGarrette Blount is on a bye week, but I'll deal with that. However, I don't know. I don't know how I'll deal with it. I'll figure it out. But I don't know if I'm going to play Matt Jones again. He pissed me off so much, man. I'm thinking about benching him. But this is a situation where sometimes when you chase, it never works out. And this was a case where I needed him to step up, and he didn't. So, yeah, Matt Jones, it was all good just a week ago. That's who I got. All right, so, man, it seems like every week somebody's hurt. Somebody significant is hurt. And this one actually, I feel sorry for the brother because I know, you don't want to see anybody get hurt. But CJ Anderson, news broke today that CJ Anderson is dealing with a knee injury, and he may be out for a couple of weeks. He's seeking a second opinion because apparently he thinks he could be shorter than whatever time he was quoted. The story is still developing, but all I have to say is if you have been watching this show, I told you 2 weeks ago, I think I even told you last week, pick up Devontae Booker. And if you listen to us, you would have Devontae Booker on your team. We told you about Jordan Howard. He had a tough matchup. Short week, Thursday. We're telling you, we told you last week, pick up Devontae Booker. Now CJ Anderson is hurt. Devontae Booker is the man. Not only that, Devontae Booker actually ended up splitting time with CJ Anderson. Now, here's what kind of upsets me about this, because the man hurt his knee early in the game and went out. He should have just sat out, but he wanted to play on the knee. He could have caused further damage. On top of that, if he would have sat out, maybe we would have got the extra 4 points we needed to win. But no, he wanted to play. So, yeah. So, Devontae Booker will be the man moving forward. I'm going to tell you guys about another guy that I think you may need to be looking out for. KaDeem Carey is one. Keep an eye on that situation. If you have a spot, it won't hurt to pick him up. I think Jordan Howard would still be the man, but it remains to be seen. I think the thing that has me a little bit concerned is the amount of work that Carey is getting. If you'll recall, Carey was hurt when Jordan Howard stepped into the starting role. And now Carey is back, but he's probably going to get hurt anyway and be back out again. But they really do like Jordan Howard. But here's the situation. If Howard continues to struggle and Carey continues to be average, it's a possibility that Langford could get the job back. So if Langford is sitting on the waiver wire and you have a spot to give, it will not hurt to have him on your bench simply because he was the starter. He wasn't very good. But if the guys are not – if Jordan Howard doesn't start performing the way he was prior to the last 2 weeks, who knows what can happen? And you don't want him sitting out there if you have a spot and let somebody else get him. Same thing what I did with Thomas Rawls. Thomas Rawls was sitting out there, and Christian Michael has struggled over the last couple of weeks. He had some tough matchups, but the fact is he struggled. And Pete Carroll said that the offense is not the same without Rawls. So I picked him up. Who knows what's going to happen? If Michael continues to struggle, Rawls come back next month, I got a starter. So, and I done dropped Rawls in a couple of leagues. So yeah, man. If you listen to us and you picked up Booker, you're probably happy right now. Let's see. It was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, LeSean McCoy's hurt. I don't know about picking up Gillensley. I think you probably should if you have LeSean McCoy or you don't have a capable backup that you can plug in, because there's no way Gillensley is getting that job unless LeSean McCoy is out for like the rest of the season or goes on IR. And even still, I don't think he can be LeSean McCoy. B, I know you have LeSean McCoy. How are you managing that situation? I can't hear you. Man, yeah, I lost the audio. Hold on, let me see if I can pull you up on the live feed. It may be my computer. Oh, crap. Okay. Shit. Where is that? Yeah, I don't even know if it's picking you up because it didn't even switch to you. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. All right. Well, B resets. Let me go through some other news real quick. So Via tell us what he's doing with LeSean McCoy. Jamal Charles is a situation. Spencer Ware is running really, really well. And as long as he continues to do that and Jamal Charles' knee continues to swell, it's something that you probably really want to monitor. I think that if you did draft Jamal Charles, you drafted a running back that you can plug and play, or you drafted Spencer Ware. Hopefully you were smart enough to do that. I, for one, ended up losing, dropped Spencer Ware like a dumbass, and couldn't get him back and forth. Okay, yeah, I got you now. So yeah, you were saying about LeSean McCoy?
Yeah, I have Spencer Ware. I have
you good.
I have Devontae Booker. So I'm straight on, and I have DeMarco Murray. So those are backs I still have, even though McCoy is out. So I got, like I said, I got Booker, Ware, DeMarco Murray. If I got McCoy on the bench right now because they got him questionable, his status for New England is uncertain. I think I'm going to still bench him regardless if they say he's playing or game time decision or whatever. I'm gonna stick with Booker, Ware, and Murray because all three of those guys are healthy and all three of those guys are going to definitely get work and they're not going to leave early. Boy, did because I think I played him in one league and then I benched him in another league. He still played for like a couple of snaps and then he was out for the rest of the game. So, yeah, McCoy, I'm handling that pretty well. And let me see, I think it's another league I have him in too. Yes, but I have Devontae Booker and I have Lamar Miller. So, I can. This is what happens when you draft good, man. You know what I'm saying? This is what happens when you draft good. I could just plug guys right in, and I'm good. This is what happens when you be a good general manager. You got to be out there on that waiver wire, making moves. So when you do that, and when guys get hurt, I don't get in panic mode. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight. So yeah, man. You heard it, Ken. You heard my backs. You said it yourself. Oh yeah, you straight. So that's the feeling I have when I'm playing. You know what I'm saying? When I draft well and be a good GM.
Yeah, I remember when I saw you picked up. Yeah, I remember when I saw you picked up Booker, and I was like, dang, that was a good move. And I'm like, he didn't really need to pick up Booker, and it worked. It's working out for you because you dropped Doug Martin, and as it turns out, and we discussed this last week, Doug Martin is probably out for a couple of more weeks.
Yep.
And even still, he's a risk to the hamstrings are just sometimes they just never heal, man, and you just need time. So yeah, all right, cool. We have some questions, and I'll get to those in just a second, and then we'll also kind of go through just what to do with blank, which basically is you have this player, you drafted him pretty high, and he's not doing anything. For example, like DeAndre Hopkins. So, which was on, I think, B's Milk Carton list. So we'll get to that. I already mentioned that you should pick up KaDeem Carey. Paul Perkins is a guy that I think you may need to kind of keep an eye on, simply because Rashard Jennings, terrible. Orleans Darkwa, nah. I think they drafted the rookie for a reason. And at some point, if the others continue to be ineffective, who knows? He could probably get in there and get some work. I think we're fast approaching Kenneth Dixon time, Terrence West, who should have been on the It Was All Good a week ago list because he put up points last week, and he did absolutely nothing.
It was a 20 spot, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. 23 carries, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, 24.3 points.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think I even had him on here. I was gonna do 2, but yeah, this week he did I think he had like 10 yards. He was absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Man, as a matter of fact, he's on this other page. That's why I didn't see him when I was giving my my guys. Yeah, he's at the bottom of the list. Where is he at? Terrence West. Man, where your ass at? I can't find him. I see Sherkantrick West. Anyway, y'all know he was bad if you played him. But real quick, let's kind of run through. Paul Perkins and
he only had 10 yards. You're right. Terrence West only had 10 yards.
Yeah, so we got 1 point.
Yep.
Dwayne Washington is a guy you may want to go look at. Theo Riddick, keep in mind that's Theo Riddick's job for all intents and purposes. But if you need a plug and play guy, it's bye week, and he plays. Pick him up, put him in, see what he does. All right, so let's go to some of these questions here. Joshua said he sent me a trade. I'll look at it. What's the best program to join? What's the best fantasy program to join and start playing fantasy? So I'm playing on ESPN, Yahoo, NFL.com, and CBS Sports. I like Yahoo. I've been playing on Yahoo for over 20 years now. I think it's been that long. And that's the one that I'm just more familiar with. And for me, I think that it just seemed like it's better. Their rankings are better. The way you draft is better because they break down your options by round. On the other leagues, I think they have a ways to go. And plus, I think their rankings are sometimes a little high, but NFL.com rankings are absolutely terrible. CBS rankings are pretty good too because they get their data from Sportsline, and I think where does Yahoo get theirs from? I'm not sure, but they're starting to partner up with, and a lot of these places are partnering up with other companies to get projections from. And while Yahoo tends to be a little bit on the high side, I think they're the closest to being accurate that I've seen. What about you, B? Which one do you like?
Yeah, just like you, I prefer Yahoo as well because that's where I started. When I started playing fantasy sports in general, Yahoo has been my go-to. And plus, I think from a mobile standpoint, I like Yahoo's app better, the fantasy app a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN has came a long way. ESPN mobile.
Macklin or okay. I think you had dipped out.
Oh no, I'm good. I was just saying, yeah, the mobile wise Yahoo. I prefer Yahoo just because I've known it for the longest, and I like their app. Their app is very, it's better. It's much better.
Macklin or Jeffrey? The gunner is playing against Alex Smith. Who would you put in? I'll tell you, Macklin has been terrible this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jeffrey probably because Macklin has been non-factor, like literally a non-factor. So if you had to choose between them, I would say go with Jeffrey. Go. Even busted 10 points or more. I don't even know if Macklin had 10 points or more this year.
Yeah, I don't think he has. I think. Oh man. I don't like Macklin. I didn't like Macklin coming into the year. Macklin wasn't all that great last year. He had a hot streak, and I think people bought into the hot streak. But it's Alex Smith, and and you have to understand that that's who's throwing in the ball. Cutler's back, should be back this week, and Cutler likes throwing to Ashon Jeffrey, and they have more of a chemistry. So I think they have a tough matchup this week. They're playing Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
So you have to temper your expectations a little bit, but the potential is there. So I would say monitor Cutler's situation, because if Matt Barkley is out there, you don't want to play Ashon Jeffrey. I don't think it's worth the risk. You'll stand a better chance of doing more with Macklin, who probably is due for a game. Let's see. Carey is going to take over primary running back from Bears now that he's back. Well, maybe we'll see. What website do you use for the pay league? The human like button wants to know.
ESPN. We usually kind of go back and forth using ESPN and Yahoo. So I'm pretty sure probably next year we might use Yahoo and then go back to ESPN, go back to Yahoo. I guess switch it up. I don't know why Meech does that from time to time, but yeah, right now this year is ESPN.
Okay, all right. Rayvon Hackshaw picked up Jay Ajayi and then started him and missed out on 400 yards, and that's not going to happen again. Jay Ajayi will return back to earth. There are, according to Pro Football Focus, there's some reports out there. I think it's Pro Football Focus that offensive line is one of the best in the league now that they're healthy. That remains to be seen, but I think, look, Jay Ajayi sent Arian Foster home, so the job is his for sure. But 200 yards, probably not. I think you get close to 100 and maybe a touchdown. But you're definitely going to get the work. So, and he doesn't have competition. So, but yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks. Would you start Chris Thompson over Matt Jones? I probably would, because they can find themselves trailing. Chris Thompson is their version of James White. And as long as Matt Jones continues to fumble, I mean, he's going to be on the bench. So at least you'll probably get 50 yards from Chris Thompson and probably a couple of more carries now. But right now, I wouldn't trust Matt Jones, and I would wait to see how that situation play out. Hopefully you have somebody on the bench that you can put in, that you don't have to start either one of these guys. So I think that situation in Washington is absolutely ugly. So yeah, I think Matt Jones might be done. Even though Gruden is backing him. In NBA fantasy, would you trade Wall and Elfrid Payton for Isaiah Thomas, Oladipo, and Bazemore in a head-to-head points league? Bazemore.
Say that one. What's the players? It was like
John Wall, Elfrid Payton for Isaiah Thomas, Victor Oladipo, and Kent Bazemore.
Yeah, I'll make that trade. I'll make that trade for Victor. Yeah, I'll make that trade.
Yeah, Bazemore is a throw-in for whatever reason.
For whatever reason, yeah.
But Oladipo and Isaiah Thomas are like top 4 picks.
Yeah, they're going.
Payton, you get him in like the 10th round. So yeah, that's a good look. I think that's somebody said they have Jamal Charles and Ivory on one team. Ugh, man. Stay away from Yeldon and Chris Ivory. Anyway, all right, so Dante Moncrief is back. I started to pick him up a couple of weeks ago because people were dropping him, so I snatched him up quick, and he's supposed to be playing this week. All right, so what to do with blank? All right, man. Here we go. Let's start with running backs. What do you do with where is he? Jeremy Hill. B, you have Jeremy Hill. What do you do with Jeremy Hill, who is as boom or bust as anybody I have seen this year?
Yeah, week to week, by a week-to-week basis, you don't know if you're going to get 3 points Jeremy Hill or 16 points Jeremy Hill. I mean, with someone like him, usually with him, I'm kind of going back and forth because I'm not putting him as my running back 1 or 2. He's going to be a flex option. At this point, Jeremy Hill is a flex option. Like if I got another running back or another wide receiver who I feel has a better matchup, I might go with them over Jeremy Hill at this point. Jeremy Hill is not a every week starter for me right now this season. He just, and like I said, the reason why I played him this week, I think, is because I think it was the matchup situation. It was matchup. Yeah, because they played against Cleveland. So I was like, well, I got to play him. I got to play him, at the flex position, and it worked out for me. And I still, this the league I'm undefeated in. So it still worked out for me. But yeah, Jeremy Hill, man, he just had to be a flex option. This is an example of where I have to kind of play the matchups. You know what I'm saying? I have to kind of play the matchup. This is an instance where you really have to play a matchup. I know some people don't like it. I know like yourself, you don't like it or whatever. But in the situation, we all know how Jeremy Hill's been playing. And I think this is definitely 100% case where you have to kind of go by matchup because, I mean, this squad is pretty good. My squad is good, so I can bench Jeremy Hill in a second and play somebody else and feel comfortable about it. So, like I said, unless it's a situation where he's going against Cleveland Browns or another, a weak Russian defense, I might play him. But he's not a comfortable every week starter like a DeMarco Murray is this year, or Melvin Gordon this year, or, like those type of guys. So, yeah, with Jeremy Hill, if you have him on your squad and you know what he's been doing, and you've been benching him some weeks and playing him other weeks like I have, just go by the matchups, man. Just kind of play matchups. Or in some cases, go by your bye weeks. If the guys that you probably would normally plug in are on buys, play Jeremy Hill. You can feel comfortable playing them then because you can't be like, oh, I should have went with somebody else, but you can't because they're on bye. But if you got other guys that you can plug in that you feel more comfortable or you have a feeling that's going to do better than Jeremy Hill, put Jeremy on that bench because we know what he's been doing this season, man. He's definitely a prime example of it was all good just a week ago type of guy. Like he'll be on Jeremy Hill will be on your it's all good just a week ago, and then next week he'll be on your oh my God, I love him, and for this week. And then he'll go right back onto your it's all good just a week ago. So Jeremy Hill is the only player this season that can probably be on that it was all good just a week ago about 5 times this year. But in the fantasy football season is not even over yet. So I guarantee you he did good for me this week, and I might play him, and he might put up a 4-point, 3-point spot for me, man. So you just got to kind of play the matchups with Jeremy Hill and just wish for the best, or just go by who you have on bye since we're in bye weeks now.
Every time I bench Jeremy Hill, he goes off. And unlike you, I don't really have any other good options. And I've tried other options, and I've tried to play the matchups, and it hasn't worked. Here's what I do with Jeremy Hill. I just close my eyes, put him in, and just close my eyes and just live with what happens. Because that team's probably losing anyway, and I think that is one of the teams that I have that's losing. Here's a situation we're in, B, and I think what to do with, and I'm gonna give you 2 options because we have both of them. Okay. Phillip Rivers and Derek Carr. Derek Carr has been underperforming. What are we going to do with him?
Man, and he's going against Tampa this week too. Phillip Rivers going against Denver at Denver.
Can't play him. But rest of the season, like we're kind of stuck with him, but Derek Carr should be playing way better than what he is.
And to be honest, him and Cooper hasn't been playing as well together as we thought they were, because they had a good year last year. We figured another offseason, another full training camp with them two together. Our expectations for Carr and Cooper were pretty high, and they've been, like you said, Carr's been underperforming big time. So I don't know if his defense is getting film on him, and he just haven't made the proper adjustments yet. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I almost want to play Phillip, but Tampa defense is not like Tampa defense is all that. But you know what? Just our freaking luck in this league. Phillip Rivers will probably put up like 28 points. And Derek Carr might put up like 15. You know what I'm saying? We'd be like, damn, we could have played.
DeMarcus Ware coming back, so that defense is about to get back right.
It's about to get back right.
You know what, man? I think we made the commitment to Derek Carr, and I think we have to play matchups.
Yeah.
And Denver, obviously we don't want to play that matchup. And you're right, Tampa's defense is terrible.
Yeah, Tampa defense that can be a shootout. That game can be a shootout, to be honest with you. That can be a 35-42 type of game easily. Because both of them quarterbacks and both of those offenses can put up points. So,
and think about this: if Derek Carr threw one touchdown, if he throw one more, we would have won. But anyway, I'm gonna get off that.
I know it hurts.
Yeah. Let's see. I had another one. What to do with Mark Ingram? And I have Mark Ingram. We know Breeze is going to throw that rock. We know he's going to throw touchdowns. But we've seen situations where he has given that pill to Ingram. The problem that's impacting Ingram is that 5 other guys on that team have scored touchdowns in the same goal line situations. What do you do with Mark Ingram moving forward? Because some people drafted him as an RB1. Is he RB1, RB2? Do you temper your expectations? Do you understand? Because he's not even getting like yards like that.
I told y'all, man, when we was doing this, the preseason version of this show, I was telling people I am not touching Mark Ingram with a 40-foot pole. I am not touching him. I'm not touching him. And I'm glad that decision and my prediction is paying off, because every week when I look at him, I'm like, oh, look, what is he doing? Nothing. What is he doing? Nothing. And I don't know why y'all didn't listen to me when I said don't touch Mark Ingram, don't be high on him, don't even waste that second round, early third round draft pick on him. Don't get him. And me personally, I would even, for one, if I did draft him, I would definitely he'd be on the bench. Only time I would plug Mark Ingram in is if I have players on bye weeks at this point. I'm not even playing the matchups because, like you said, he's not even getting yards at this point. It's almost like I don't know if he's just out there for a decoy to make the passing game better for Drew Brees at this point. And I haven't really watched that many Saints games from beginning to end, so I don't really know what's the problem. But when I look at his stats, I'm like, what's up? What's up, Mark Ingram? It's people that drafted you, like you said, Ken, as your RB1, RB2, and he's not playing like one. He's not playing like one at all. So, yeah, man, I try to tell y'all, man, stay away. I always stay away from Saints running backs, man. For some reason, I don't know why. I've always stayed away from Saints running backs.
All right, I think we can play this game. I gotta have so many more, but I'm gonna throw 2 more at you, and then I think we'll call it. First one, you mentioned him in the Milk Carton list, DeAndre Hopkins, man. People drafted him as one of their top receivers, especially if you went 0 RB and you drafted elite receivers and just decided to grab whatever running backs off the board.
He went 8th. He went 8th in my draft. In my main league draft, he went 8th, top 8.
I got him on some teams.
See?
It's frustrating because Brock Osweiler is so terrible. And when you got a guy like Will Fuller on the opposite side, that's a threat as well. They should be tearing up the league, dog.
Yep. And with Lamar Miller running the ball,
and he's suffering because of it. He's another guy I looked at that I could put out there. But we're gonna play this again, in weeks to come. But yeah, man, DeAndre Hopkins, man, I think at this point,
you panicking?
Unless you have,
you panicking on DeAndre Hopkins?
Look, unless you have here, okay. I think you got to play this by the matchups, B. So if you got a guys like, I don't know, Randall Cobb on your bench, or you can play him, Emmanuel maybe Emmanuel Sanders, Willie Snead, possibly, but I think his time is done. Terrell Pryor is a guy you can probably play in place of him if you need to, until they get that thing right, man. And the last one is another guy that we have, Amari Cooper. You mentioned him earlier. Like, we don't have much of a choice, but we picked that combo for a reason, and Crabtree is taking all the work.
He is. Crabtree is taking all the work. Every time I'm watching, Crabtree making touchdown plays, and like, man, where is Cooper? Like, he's the up-and-coming young elite receiver for Carr. They had another full training camp this year under their belt. I'm looking for the killer combo. I'm looking for the Big Ben Antonio Brown combo with those two. So, yeah, man, I don't like it.
Yeah, you know what I did? I picked up, somebody dropped Corey Coleman. He's close to returning, so I snatched him up. So we'll have, another option there, thankfully, because we need talent. Yes. And we're just kind of, fortunately for us, C.J. Anderson got hurt, so we just came up with Devontae Booker. We've been holding him all week long, and maybe it'll turn our fortunes around. Another guy I wanted to put on the list was Jordy Nelson, because he's been struggling, and Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb's been getting all the work. He's one of those guys you draft that you just can't bench. And I think with Jordy Nelson, since I have him, and you have him too, B, and I'll let you speak on it. I think for me, it's just I'm waiting for the funk to go away. And I'm hoping that Devontae Adams and Randall Cobb's performance will start to open things up for Jordy Nelson.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay. If Randall Cobb and Devontae Adams still, ball out really good, maybe defenses will start to kind of key in and throw a little bit off on Nelson where he can kind of eat a little bit more, because unlike DeAndre Hopkins, Jordy Nelson has a pretty damn good quarterback throwing him the ball, and Aaron Rodgers. So you can't say, oh, it's a quarterback situation. He got a bum quarterback throwing the ball. We know when Aaron Rodgers loves you, he's going to feed you the ball. And we know them two have definitely a chemistry. They've shown that through years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you're right. I can't bench him. Even though he put up 0.9 points, guess what? I'm still playing him this week. I'm still playing him this week, and I'm still playing him the week after, unless he suffers. And Jordy Nelson doesn't look like, he doesn't play like the injury has been bothering him. He's playing like he's kind of back in form. He just haven't been getting to work. Like you said, Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams really kind of stepping up now. So, hopefully, we get some more one-on-one coverages and some more goal line looks.
Yeah.
Like in the red zone look, he's not getting a lot of red zone looks. So hopefully Aaron Rodgers can go back and maybe defenses are keying into him. Maybe that's why Randall Cobb and Devontae Adams is eating, because defenses are worried about Jordy Nelson. You never know. So yeah, I'm wishing the same thing, man. Like, let Jordy Nelson get some one-on-one coverages and some more red zone looks. So I just need, because Jordy Nelson, besides this past week, Jordy Nelson he's been getting yards. I mean, for the most part, he's been getting yards. He just haven't been finding the end zone that much. So if I can just get Jordy Nelson to give me some more touchdowns, give me some 60, 70-yard, 2-touchdown games. Give me that. Like, I'll be happy with that. 50-yard, 2-touchdown games. Because, he's long. He's a big red zone target. So,
yep.
Unlike Hopkins, I wouldn't even say panic on Nelson yet, because, like I said, just because of his quarterback situation, because we know who he got throwing the ball, not bum Osweiler throwing DeAndre Hopkins the ball.
I know one thing. I said I didn't like Hopkins this year on this program. So if you guys listen to me, you probably wouldn't be in that situation you're in now.
You did.
So far, I think we've been all right, man. We've been all right in our expectations of this year. But next week, we're gonna really go through how right we were, because we're gonna do the redraft.
A mid-season redraft. It's the mid-season redraft. So if you listening, make sure you have your draft results from your league this year. If you do, you can talk it to us in the chat box and all that stuff. Tell us like how your draft went, and me and Ken is gonna go through and we're gonna do a redraft like right here on the show next week.
Last question, Alex Ortega has Marvin Jones or Pryor or Will Fuller. Which one of those do you like?
The reason why I like Pryor in that situation because he is getting a lot of targets. Jesus Christ, they looking at him. He getting targets. I might have to go with Pryor on this, man. Even though the Browns is in the funk, but they feed him. At least they try to feed him. Sometimes the ball just don't get there, or he don't make the receptions, but he gets his looks. So and he's a red zone target. So I would probably say go with Pryor.
Yeah, I like Pryor too. I would also look and see who they're playing against as well. You guys know I don't really like playing the matchups like that, but I think look, Brock Osweiler, I think you just can't. It's risky to play Will Fuller because of how bad Osweiler has been. Kevin Hogan throwing the Terrell Pryor isn't much better. And we know what Stafford can do, but Golden Tate is taking all the work. So maybe that may open things up for Marvin Jones a little bit more down the field because Tate is taking the underneath work. But I think in a situation like this, I think it pays to kind of look at who they're playing against. And I'm trying to pull up and see if I can find. Okay, so Marvin Jones, they're playing Houston. So that means Houston's playing Detroit.
Yep.
And who's the other one? Terrell Pryor. They're playing the Jets. Yeah, all of these are ugly. Yeah. All of these are just ugly. So I think I like Pryor because he's getting all the work. But Marvin Jones may be the guy here, especially if he gets matched up with Kerry Jackson.
Yeah, that is.
I think that's his name. But anyway, yeah, just kind of take a look at the matchups, man. I would advocate for matchups here, and probably best quarterback at this point. So anyway, that's gonna do it for us, man. We appreciate you guys stopping by, man, to listen to us talk about our fantasy football experiences, and hopefully we've been able to help give you some advice to help you win your league this upcoming week. And that's it, man. We'll catch you guys next Tuesday at 9 p.m. where we'll recap the not fantasy, but the sports week, basketball, baseball, and football. So that's going to do it for us, man. We out. Peace.
Peace.